Hello, lady loves. So I'm super excited to get on live here with you, and fingers crossed that this works no problem. So I'm coming to you from Athens in Greece. Of course, you probably know where Athens is, at a co-working space. So I'm going to explain what a co-working space is in just a second here. But I'm really hoping and sending love to the angels of technology and to my computer that this live video is working, just because I have a deeper a workshop with my deeper circle, Divine Feminine in Business, in just about an hour here. So this is also a little bit of a test to make sure that the internet speed is up to speed. Okay, so about this co-working space, it's cool. Hey, it's pretty. I got to rent a room here at this co-working space in Athens. And a co-working space, this might be interesting for those of you who are wanting to or already are running your own online-based businesses. Essentially, co-working spaces exist all over the world, and they're places that digital nomads, entrepreneurs, writers, people that are working remotely, maybe even students for sure, can come and can share space and work together and have this kind of community vibe while having a focus and having a place where everyone's focused on their work. But there's also events going on after work or during lunchtime. It's a great place to meet people, and this is my first time at a co-working space. I'm really excited. So I actually rented a private room here so I could do my private workshop here tonight, because my internet and my Airbnb is not up to speed. Okay, so I have an exciting discussion. It's really funny. I'm looking at the picture on the screen, and I'm like seeing myself in the mirror. It's like, hey. Anyway, I have an exciting discussion today because I just came from also there's a lot of notes here. There's a lot of thumping upstairs. And when I got here, the owner, or the person who runs this co-working space, said that there is a violin lesson and maybe, I don't know, some sort of dance lesson too for refugees happening right now. And he's like, I hope that doesn't bother you. And I was like, if that bothered me, I'd be a really shitty person, because like it's for refugees. Anyway. So if you do hear some thumping and some strange noises, that's what's going on. Hi, Kristen. Welcome. So Kristen is one of the ladies in my Divine Feminine Business Circle. So I just mentioned that, Kristen, because she just hopped on. So it looks like things are working live so far, so that's super exciting. So yeah, getting back to what I originally wanted to talk to you about, I just came from the Museum of Archaeology, the National Archaeology Museum in Athens. And it was a pretty cool experience. So I was wandering through the exhibits, and first off, I saw the different sculptures from ancient Egypt, which was really cool, and I was into that. But I did notice that there were 2 rooms in the museum that were dedicated to Egypt and Egyptian artifacts. And I was like, ooh, that's kind of my number one go-to, even though I'm in Greece and I absolutely love Greece and Greek culture and feel a strong connection to it. Something about Egypt is intense, and that's what we're going to talk about soon. So Kristen said, yay for good Wi-Fi, Waheguru. Yes, so yay, thank you, angels of technology. So I got into the part of the Egyptian, exhibit, and the first thing I saw was this sarcophagus. And for those of you who follow me on Instagram, you'll see this soon when I upload it on my stories. I brought my tablet along so I could share that with you. If you're not already following me on Instagram, you can go to sisters.of.the.mermaid.moon. And if you're watching this on September 24th or early on September 25th, you can head to my Instagram stories and see some of the things that I was seeing. So I got to the sarcophagus, and I saw these wings spread out, and of course I recognized Isis painted on this old wooden sarcophagus, and just the feeling in my body was just like, when you just have this wave of remembrance, or this wave of something, this emotion, and you can't quite put your finger on it, but you know that something's happening to you. So in the last couple of years, as I've deepened into my priestess path, and I've made a point to meditate with my past lives or open up to different priestess experiences, mentorship retreats, etc., I've had an opening and many openings over time, and they're very much still happening, and they will be for a while. And I've remembered myself as a priestess of Isis. so the goddess Isis from ancient Egypt, who's very much still alive and present today. And Isis is sort of this great mother archetypal energy that permeated ancient Egypt. And for me, I feel the harmonics of harmony, of resonance, of deep magic, of deep wisdom coming through with Isis. I don't think she's the archetypal energy of Isis is not something that you can necessarily describe in words, and I'm still coming to remember this. Thank you for the hearts. And so feeling that, you know, and going back to remembering myself in ancient Egypt, and it's not that I've had these like really clear visions of like, oh yeah, this is my name and this is what I did and this and this. It's like, and I think many of you can probably relate, it's just this knowingness, and you don't know quite how you know, you just know. And so I have had a knowingness, okay, that I've been a priestess in ancient Egypt and serving in the temples and serving the goddess Isis, as well as other energies. And these energies and these goddesses, they're really easy to misconstrue. I think a lot of people may be walking around these exhibits and thinking the ancient Egyptians had these gods that they thought were, you know, very, you know, people-like, and they were, you know, these kind of people in the sky or winged creatures in the sky that they worshipped. But to me, in my understanding and my remembrance, I know, you know, at least for how I remember it, it wasn't like that. It was these archetypal energies that eventually were personified. And some of them, I feel these energies did walk as humans and embodied human bodies and human vessels. And working with these energies, we embody, you know, we can embody Isis, we can embody Hathor, we can embody, you know, Amun. Not to say that, you know, like I am Isis, although, you know, kind of, in a sense, it's like we allow these energies to stream through us. So bear with me as I just work this out, because I definitely don't pre-plan my videos at all. So yeah, coming back to that and knowing and walking around, you know, this ancient Egyptian, I've actually never seen relics from ancient Egypt before in my memory. Maybe I have. I was at the Louvre in Paris many years ago, so I imagine I saw a few there, but none in my memory that I can understand. And just seeing these relics and these cups of, you know, a priestess princess, or these intricate, you know, statues of Sekhmet and these intricate statues of Isis just in front of me. And then going to the next exhibit and seeing these golden armbands that were in the form of snakes. And I'm wearing a golden armband right now, although it's not a snake. But our sister Emily and a client of mine, also in the Divine Feminine of Business program, posted in our tribe, Sisterhood of the Mermaid Moon, recently that she was having these remembrances, and I think she spoke about ancient Egypt, and she also posted a band of a snake. And then I mentioned, you know, from my understanding, the golden snake armbands were worn by initiates of Isis in the mystery schools, and potentially they were worn by other initiates and in other cultures. I'm not sure, probably, but I do know that the golden armbands were worn in that way. So it was really cool to see, you know, I've had these remembrances, and I'm reading about this over time, and I'm getting these flashes, and then being able to see that these people were real, these priestesses were real, these ways of lives were real, and I'm staring at what has been made by these hands, you know, up to 2,500 years ago, was pretty profound. So I want to bring this into the discussion of lineage, because lineage is something that I've only consciously started to be aware of really in the last year, even though I've had my spiritual awakening about 6 years ago now. Like I said, it's only been in the last year that I've come to be awakened to lineage. So lineage, and thanks for the hearts. And if you have any questions or comments, or you're relating to some of this, please leave me a comment. Let me know where you're watching from, whether you're on live or rebroadcast. I love to be able to connect with you and know who I'm talking to through this interface. So lineage is, you know, remembering my lineage, I've remembered that I'm in the lineage of the Magdalene, the lineage of the Rose, and a priestess of Isis. So what does that mean? Well, I don't know if I'm fully able to describe that in languaging right now, but to the best of my ability, I will. Lineage is, on some level, the soul agreement, or maybe even this, this birthing process that we were born into, to embody, to amplify this archetypal energy that runs through the universe. So in the lineage of the rose, and Mary Magdalene was perhaps the most famous example of a priestess in the lineage of the rose who really embodied that. We amplify the essence of the rose, we amplify the field of love, and we amplify what that archetypal energy is as it runs through our beings. And as priestesses, we've made a commitment, a soul commitment, to hold that and embody that through the course of our lifetimes. And I feel that as lineages, and the lineage of the rose, and Isis is very much in connection with that. Isis and Magdalene are, in that same branch, that we have these almost like these plans, these cosmic plans that we're enacting out, and we're bringing this sacred energy and these sacred embodiments to planet Earth, or wherever we go, to, I'm not really quite sure how to put that into words. I'm just kind of feeling that and tuning in, but to allow that, the waves of the lineage energy, to allow the waves, in this case of the essence of the rose, to embody and plant and ground on this planet, so we can see the evolution of this planet to come back into harmonics with the energy of love, to come back into harmonics with the sacred languaging of the universe. So it's very big, it's very esoteric. But I'm hoping that as I share this with you, that there might be, and Kristen gives us some roses, that there might be some, things ringing off in your head, and, you might go, what the heck is she talking about? Or you might totally understand what I'm talking about. I don't even know if I fully understand what I'm talking about. But I think it's an important discussion to bring forth, because if you're here and you're watching this video, you're definitely a priestess, and I'm sure that you've served the goddess or source in your own understanding throughout lifetimes. And we have been in these temples, we've served in these temples. Recently I had an experience with the goddess Aphrodite, a very strong experience on the island of Naxos in Greece, where I felt her so profoundly, and I had a very synchronistic experience with her. And I felt this wave of energy coming off the island, and she said, "You've served me before." And I was like, did I? Like, when this information comes through, you wonder, is this my imagination, or, whatever that is. But I'm sharing this with you because that was the experience that happened. So we've had experiences of serving these goddesses, who are not these totally disembodied creatures that are far away from us that we're worshiping. We're actually embodying their archetypal energies, our Aphrodite, the goddess of love, through us, and we're embodying the goddess as herself, because we are that, And so, whether you served at, a temple of Aphrodite, or the temple of Isis, or Hathor, or maybe Brigid, from ancient Ireland, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We carry these lineages, and we carry this heart of service, and this connection to these energies throughout lifetimes. And many of us are just waking up to this now. So, and I still very much am waking up to this. And what I've come to realize, walking around Greece and seeing these beautiful buildings that are essentially almost in ruins now, the Acropolis, and just these pillars, and just having this longing, like, I want to go back, I want to live that life where we really presenced beauty in such profound ways. So Wendy is saying, I've been told I have a connection to Anubis and should consider a trip to Egypt to explore that. So not even a goddess. Yes, good point. Yeah, and I'm trying to catch myself on that, because I'm all about the goddess, but there's so much in the sacred masculine, or masculine energies, that I think I'm being asked to open to. So Anubis, and I saw Anubis in the museum today, and I did have an experience with Anubis recently, where he came to me, where I was with plant medicine. I was journeying with mushrooms. So thank you, Wendy, for presencing Anubis. And I should probably mention that I'm actually flying to Egypt next week. So I'm really excited about that. My first time in Egypt. So we've served, right? We've served as priestesses, and as Wendy says, potentially we've also served in temples for the sacred masculine, temple of Apollo, et cetera, et cetera. Kristen says, can you teach us more about Isis and Hathor? I'm intrigued. Yes, I don't know if that will be in this session. I might, before I teach, I might want to have a good meditation with Isis and Hathor before I do so, but we'll see what comes through. And yes, lots more that wants to come through about that, and I think there's going to be a lot in Egypt that's going to want to come through me. So, okay, so where do we want to go from here? So we've served, right? So you, beautiful one watching, if you're having this awareness, I feel like that's me. I feel like I've served in temples before, you know. First, just allow yourself to open up and know that remembrance is coming through you, and it often doesn't come through like a hit on the head. Sometimes it does, but a lot of the time it's subtle awarenesses that come over time, and over time through meditation, through the dream time, through knowingnesses, through being triggered by seeing a symbol, etc., etc. Speaking of symbols, recently got this ankh on my finger, in connection to to that ancient Egyptian energy, and working with symbols is I think an incredible way of just triggering our memories. So if you have symbols from these ancient cultures that you really resonate with, meditate with them, stare at them, draw them, research them, whatever it is that makes you feel connected. So back to what I was saying about walking around Greece and seeing that these structures and longing for the time that I feel like I was here. The first moment I got the glimpse of the Acropolis up on that hill, I just also had this wave of emotion, like I said, I got with the sarcophagus today, and I said, that's me, I've been here, this is something that I've embodied before. And what I'm coming to realize is that there's this part of me that has this grief, around not being able to be there, and looking around our world and be like, oh, we make things so ugly now, like the buildings are ugly and we're so patriarchal and all this stuff. But then there's this awareness and this knowingness now that our temples are now in our hearts, and the entire world are our temples. So we essentially no longer have these dedicated temples to the goddess that we had and we experienced, hundreds and thousands of years ago. But that doesn't mean that they're gone. It was always, even when those temples were in existence, what made the temples so sacred was that we kept the flame of the goddess in our hearts, and that we walked and we embodied the goddess, and we opened up to her energies, or in this, many cases, maybe the sacred masculine energies, or the union of those energies. And it was that I feel, we were able to create these sacred spaces, but they always came from inside of us. So this is what I'm remembering, and I'm knowing that my body is a temple, my heart is a temple, and as I walk around, I'm still very much absolutely a priestess in this world. And I know, maybe some of you can relate to me, where you feel this longing, this sadness, that there's no longer these dedicated temples where we can spend our time in sisterhood, and we can spend our time in sacred ceremony so much of the time and be supported, right? And a lot of the time in these temples, in these times, society valued and understood the value of priestessing and priests and connection to the divine and healing gifts. So we were actually supported. So this also brings up the idea of, how do we receive money for being a priestess? And we're going to have this discussion over the next week. I have something special for you. Kristen said, I feel Hathor and sometimes a Celtic presence when I sing with crystal bowls. Beautiful. I always don't, because Celtic, I always forget if it's Celtic or Celtic. Like, I know I've learned about that, but yes, I have a strong connection to that energy as well. It's in my ancestry, Irish ancestry. So yeah, I'm excited to open up this discussion and hear from you ladies. So what I'd like to say, I think, what are some of the summaries and the essence of this conversation? So we have lineage. As priestesses, we have lineage. We have had experiences where we've devoted ourselves to these archetypal energies, these goddesses, and maybe in some cases the sacred masculine. And we carry this lineage and we carry this service with us in our souls wherever we go, even if we're not consciously aware of it. For most of my life, I had no idea that I was a priestess of Isis or in alignment with the lineage of the rose. This is only recent. It doesn't matter if we don't know consciously. We hold it in our spirits, we hold it in our souls. And all of my life, when I spoke up for someone, when I decided to choose love, when I had a period of my life in junior high school, when I said, I'm not going to gossip or say anything bad about anybody because that doesn't feel right to me, I was embodying the goddess of love, and I was embodying that lineage, whether I consciously knew that or not, whether I was even aware of that we were all one or not. So we still embody these energies. But as we awaken, we start to gather more specifics. So if you want to gather more specifics about your lineage, who you served, who you're still serving, And not from a place of worship higher than, but from a place of we embody this, we are this, we carry through this energy, we're vessels of this energy. Then simply open yourself up and say, Goddess, Source Energy, God, Creator, whatever terms you use, I'm open. I'm open to knowing who I am on a deeper level and how I've lived. Please show me the way. Come through my dream time. Come through conversations, etc., etc. Right? And I know that you know this. I know that, you know, we've all experienced synchronicities in our lives. When I was deciding where to go next after Greece, I was questioning. I thought maybe I would go to Israel or Jordan or Turkey and maybe Egypt. And then I just kept seeing Egypt pop up, Egypt pop up. And when Egypt popped up on the web or in conversation, you had that feeling, right? Ooh, this is the universe speaking to me. And then it turns out I'm going to Egypt, right? And that's the right choice for me, I feel. So be aware of your knowingnesses as you hear. It'll be subtle as you go around your day. Open, open, open. And if you're naturally inclined to beings or goddesses, and honor that and walk that and research and meditate and journal and just see what's there. And then the other part of this is we are the temples now, and the whole world is our temple. And also our temple spaces can also be very much inside of our homes. And to honor that the temple and the flame of the goddess and the flame of our truth lives inside of our hearts, and we carry that wherever we go, and we're still priestessing the world very much. And we're in this absolute crazy transformative time of awakening where everything seems to be going to shit, but also everything seems to be awakening at the same time. And it's such a profound time for us to be here. And we don't necessarily need these dedicated temple spaces to these energies anymore, although I think that they would be lovely, and I think that we're going to see a resurrection of that as we wake up as priestesses more and more. I know I'm certainly intending to build a beautiful temple on the land that I buy eventually, which might actually be in Greece. But forgive you if you weren't here on the start of this discussion. Apparently upstairs there's like violin lessons. I don't know why they're stomping around, but violin lessons for refugees, which is totally fine by me, but it just, you know, makes a little bit of noise. But, you know, we carry, like I said, we carry the temple with us. We are the temple. And I understand, and I can really relate to you if you feel this sort of grief or longing for a life, for a time that you can't quite remember, and a time where we were in sisterhood and ceremony and we were valued and we could really be in that energy. But I want to also offer that this time is also that time to do that. And we're needed so much now. So just, you know, honoring your beautiful work in the world that you're already contributing through your desire to choose love, through your choice to meditate, you know, whether that's daily or occasionally, even whatever that is, through your choice to presence beauty, through your choice to create an altar in your home, through your choice to bless the water when you see it and you go to the river, through your choice to pray for all beings, whatever that is, through your choice to follow your passion. I think all the children are now coming out. Hello, children. So I think I'm going to leave that with you for now. And as this energy starts to transition and bring some more. So, yeah. So blessings. I just wanted to come on and talk to you about what I was seeing and feeling in the ancient Egyptian exhibit, and thank you for the hearts. A little bit of, there's an anger face, a sad face, an oh face. You guys are just all over it. Grateful, beautiful, all the things. So many blessings, my child. If you are on live or on replay, feel free to comment with maybe something that you're remembering or energies that you resonate with or any thoughts that you have or even where you're coming from. I love to know who's connecting with us. So if you're watching this, I will be uploading this onto YouTube later on and maybe sharing in some other groups. So if you are watching this anywhere other than the Sisterhood of the Mermaid Moon, you are absolutely invited to our essentially virtual temple space. We're actually creating temples with our etheric energy. We have a temple space right now of 1,400 women that are holding the temple through our energetic etheric bodies. It's very exciting. And you can find that at tinyurl.com/mermaidmoon. And there is a lot of amazing women who are in this group. And it's a great place to connect and share and just have a great experience of love. Okay, so from Athens, I send you so much love. And Jessica says, how can we learn more about Egyptian priestesses? And what could we do with knowledge in modern times? excellent question. I'm still wondering this myself. So Egyptian priestesses. So I actually would recommend the book to you, the Magdalene manuscript. Forgive all the children. It's very loud. They're very excited. We love it. The Magdalene manuscript, I think, is a great place to start learning about Egyptian alchemy. You get an account from Mary Magdalene, who is actually a priestess of Isis. It is my understanding, that is my intuitive awareness, as well as echoed to me through a lot of books and other priestesses, that Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene were priestesses of Isis, and Yeshua, Jesus, and Mary Magdalene were in a tantric relationship. And Mary Magdalene studied in Egypt in the temples of Isis and wore the snake gold armband. So that's a nice place to start. That's a great book. You can also look out for there's a lot of different books about ancient Egypt and about alchemy or knowledge. Nikki, I think her name is Nikki Scully. I hope I'm getting that right. I know that she writes a lot about ancient Egypt and connects with Thoth and brings things through. And what can we do with this knowledge in modern times? Great question. There's a lot of sacred alchemical principles that we can learn about through books or through our consciously tuning in that very much apply to this day. One of them being the snakes, working with our Kundalini energy and these snake energies within us, awakening the snakes, awakening our sacred sexuality. And there's meditations, you'll find them in the Magdalene manuscript, where we can actually work with our inner snake energy. I love you children, you're so loud and beautiful. And work with our snake energy to empower us, to open our Ka bodies, and to allow us to ignite our Shakti life force. And this is so needed in modern times, and you don't necessarily have to go around the streets proclaiming, I'm awakening my Ka body, I'm strengthening my Ka body, I'm breathing in the sun to energize my Ka body, and I'm working with the Kundalini, and I'm a snake priestess, or whatever it is. You can have this personal experience within your own home, but the thing about it is the energy ripples out, and you bring it with you everywhere, and you change the world just by that. So and also what we can do on a simpler level, and without any books or without any connecting with anyone else, is you can connect with Egyptian goddesses, Isis, Hathor, Sekhmet. Wendy mentioned Anubis, who's not a goddess, but the kind of what is a jackal, the jackal that was set to stand at the crossroad of this world to the other world, the underworld, the portal of death. And you can meditate with these energies, and you can ask them, you can say, Isis, if that's something that resonates with you, Isis, I call upon you. I'm feeling a resonance to you. I don't really know why, and I ask you to show up in my life and to guide me. I want to know who you are. I want to feel you. Please show me the way. You can do that with Hathor. You can Google images and just meditate with the images and just trigger these awarenesses coming through. And know that for me, the essence of all of this work, of all of this priestessing throughout the ages, throughout all lineages, is choosing love and choosing to embody the essence of love. And that's what it always comes down to. And so we can priestess and we can embody these ancient priestess practices through simply choosing love as much as possible. And that is an ancient principle, a modern principle, and something that we can do every single day. So Jessica says, thank you. I just started the Magdalene manuscript after you recommended it. Great. And I'm blown away by all the remembering that has been happening. I appreciate all the next steps you are mentioning. Awesome. So you're already got your hands on that. And I'm like I said, I'm with you. I'm very much in my opening of okay, what was this all about? So I'm just gonna fly to Egypt next week. That's my next step, and I'll report back. Okay, so much love, my dears. Have the best day ever. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I have 45 minutes before my workshop with the Divine Feminine Business Lady, so maybe I'm just gonna ponder on that or do a meditation or something. But many blessings, so much love. Have the best day ever. You're so great. And yeah, let's continue having this discussion. Priestesses of my heart. Much love.